Hi Vinyl Community, it's Mike here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to feature a section of my record collection that I haven't really delved into before on my videos. In fact, I've probably only shown about half a dozen or so folk albums over the 2 years that I've been making videos, so I thought I'd make amends. And this video I'm going to call A Journey Through My Folk Music Collection, Part 1. So it's part 1 because depending on how it goes, I might inflict part 2 on you at a later date. So I thought what I'd do is I'd choose an album and then see where it takes me in my collection. So I started with this one because it's Fairport Convention, and I think everybody knows Fairport Convention. This is their album from 1969. It's called What We Did on Our Holidays, and it's a fine album. And the members of the band at the time were Sandy Denny, Ian Matthews, Richard Thompson, Simon Nicol, Martin Lamble, and Ashley Hutchings on the bass. And, you know, tracks on here, we've got Fotheringay, which was written by Sandy Denny and, you know, became the name of a band that she fronted later on. There's Mr. Lacey, which is an Ashley Hutchings track. You got No Man's Land, credited to Richard Thompson, and you know, a few traditional ones. She Moves Through the Fair, which is a traditional tune that's been arranged by the band, and it's a really nice album. So right, so I started with that. So where do I go from there? Well, I thought Ashley Hutchings, bass player and sometimes vocalist, and what else has he been up to in the folk world? Well, there's the Albion band. There we are. And this is an album called Under the Rose, and it came out in 1984. And again, it's a really nice album. Tracks on here, you've got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Woods, Rascals, Woodlands of England, Dancing Under the Rose, Sailor's Rest Hornpipe, and The Shipwreck. And the members of the band on here were Carthy who took the vocals. You got Phil Bear, also some vocals on this, and acoustic and electric guitars, plays the fiddle and the mandolin as well. Trevor Foster on drums, Ashley Hutchings vocals and bass guitar, and Doug Malter vocals and electric guitar. It's a really nice album, and I'll show you the label here if I can get out of the sleeve. There you go. So there you go. That's the label. And what's it called? Yeah, Spindrift Records. And yeah, so that's a really nice album from the Albion band, who, you know, been called the Albion Country Band. I think they started off, and they've actually produced, you know, probably 40 or 50 albums, and just about everyone in the folk world I think has been in the Albion band at some time or another. So that's that. So where do I go from the Albion band? Well, let's have a look at Phil Bear. So as I say, he contributes some vocals on here. Acoustic and electric guitars, fiddle and mandolin. So what else has he been up to? Well, he appeared on this album, and this is an album by Martin Wyndham-Read. It's called A Rose from the Bush, and this album came out also in 1984, and you can see that the contributing musicians on there, apart from Martin Wyndham-Read, you've got Martin Carthy, John Kirkpatrick, and Phil Bear. So, you know, some of the greats. So Martin Carthy plays guitar, usually acoustic guitar on this. Then Phil Bear, you've got a bit of fiddle, a bit of guitar, a bit of vocals, and yeah, Martin Wyndham-Read takes the vocals on most of these. And then John Kirkpatrick, Melodian, and yeah, it's a really nice album. Now, Martin Wyndham-Read was an English guy. I think he was born in South London, but he moved to Australia in the 1960s, and he was working there, and he collected a lot of Australian folk tunes, and you know, some of them are on here. So you've got a mixture of sort of Australian tunes and, and English tunes. So you've got Flowers of England. Um, then there's Opal Beds, which is an Australian song. Bag of Nails, again, an Australian song. Uh, Otago, and what else have we got? The Sussex Drinking Song, Cock of the North, Reedy Lagoon, and On the Road with Liddy. So, as I say, it's a mixture of Australian folk tunes and British folk tunes, and it's really nice. So where should we go here? So let's go with John Kirkpatrick. John Kirkpatrick plays melodeon concertina, and also, you know, vocals sometimes. So what have I got for John Kirkpatrick? Well, I've got this album, and it's called Shreds and Patches, and it's John Kirkpatrick and Sue Harris. And John Kirkpatrick and Sue Harris were married. Sue Harris is a classically trained oboe player, and she also plays the hammered dulcimer. And you know, she plays both instruments with sort of great effect, and you know, particularly the dulcimer, you know, very much a sort of folky sort of instrument. And what have we got? So Oakham Poachers, uh, Whiteflyers, Hornpipe, Waterman's Dance. There's a lot, you know, a lot of dance tunes, and again, you know, the sort of the melodeon and the concertinas sort of lend themselves to this sort of, you know, country dance music, I suppose. Uh, the Tailor and the Louse, the Gypsy Laddies, lots of, you know, lots of traditional tunes and songs from Britain. So that's John Kirkpatrick and Sue Harris. So let's explore sort of Sue Harris first and see what we get with her. So this is a solo album of hers. I think she only made a couple of solo albums. It's called Hammers and Tongues, and there you go. And you can see a picture of her there, and she's playing the sort of hammered dulcimer. If you wondered what it looked like, and there's another picture down the bottom there of the instrument. And Sue's got a very sort of folky vocal style, and I'm not sure that, you know, that she's really my favourite vocalist, but she's certainly a great sort of instrumentalist. And this is a lovely little album. Old Man in the Wood, Gay Ladies Polka. That's a really nice sort of dance tune there. And then you've got Just Watch the Ivy, another dance tune, Potting's Polka, and yeah, it's really quite a nice album. So Sue Harris, as well as sort of, you know, being partner of John Kirkpatrick musically, she also appeared in, you know, with other musicians in other bands, and one of those bands is the English country blues band, and this is an album called No Rules, and No Rules came out in 1982. And the other musicians on here, you got Maggie Holland on bass guitar, Ian A. Anderson on guitar, and then you've got Rod Stradling, who plays concertina, and then you've got Sue Harris down the bottom there with the hammered dulcimer. And this is quite an interesting record because it's kind of English country folk music, but it's a lot of blues tunes, and yeah, it's really quite interesting. You've got Weary Blues, which is Hank Williams' tune. again, given the sort of English country flavour to it. And another track here called Strongman, and Strongman is a sort of bluesy version of John Barleycorn. So yeah, this is really quite quite an interesting little album. I'll show you the label. What's the label of this one? Oh yeah, it's called Dingles. There you go. And yeah, so as I say, that came out in 1982, and Maggie Holland and Ian A. Anderson were in another band, and this is a debut album. Terrible cover, I think. It's a band called Tiger Moth, and this is their eponymous debut album. Came out in 1984, and again, they're a bit of a sort of country dance band, really. In fact, it's all that there's not, as far as I know, I don't think there's any vocals on this record at all. It's all sort of dance tunes. But I think if you like Fairport Convention, you probably like Tiger Moth. So yeah, lots of tracks on here. Speed the Plough, I suppose, which is quite a well-known tune. Yeah, Soldier's Joy, The Duchess Dressed in Blue. Some really nice songs here. So you've got other people on here. You've got yeah, Chris Cox, who plays the hammered dulcimer on this record. You got John Maxwell, who plays the drums, and then Ian Anderson on guitar, Maggie Holland also on guitar, on bass guitar, and then who else? John Moore, who plays electric guitar. So yeah, this is quite a nice sort of 1980s electric folk album from Tiger Moth. Right, so I reached a bit of a dead end here. I just show you the label. Yeah, it's on Rogue Records. So I thought I'd double back and to John Kirkpatrick and Sue Harris and see where I can go with John Kirkpatrick. And yeah, it's quite a long way. So here's John Kirkpatrick. It's a solo album of his, and it's from 1984. There's a lot of 1980s sort of albums there. And it's called Three in a Row, the English Melodeon. So it's various sort of melodeon tunes, and he uses sort of three types of melodeon. So there's the 1 row, the 2 row, and the 3 row, and you can see there that the rows refer to the rows of buttons that you get on each of them. So there's the 1, the 2, and the 3 there, and he goes through each one, and for each track, he tells you which melodeon he's using. So yeah, there's some good tunes on here. He does a really nice version of A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square, which I think is probably the best track on the album, actually. So there you go. So that's John Kirkpatrick. So John Kirkpatrick was also in another absolutely fantastic band, and this is Brass Monkey. Brass Monkey had their debut in 1983. Again, it's just called Brass Monkey, and you've got quite a few sort of traditional English sort of folk songs on here. Waterman's Hornpipe, Fable of the Wings, The Miller's Three Sons, The Maid and the Palmer, Bad News, Sauve, which I think is a really sort of great tune. And it's one of Martin Carthy's favourites. Martin Carthy is on this album, and Martin has recorded this numerous times. So it's on this album by sort of Brass Monkey. It was also on a solo album of his, and I can't remember which album it is. And his album with Dave Swarbrick called Life and Limb also has a version of Survive. And I think I probably prefer this version of it. And you know, they're an electric, you know, very much sort of, you know, electric sort of folk band, although not entirely. And there's a lot of brass in here as well. So you've got Howard Evans, who plays the trumpet and the flugelhorn. Then you've got Martin Brinsford, who plays drums and saxophone. Roger Williams on the trombone, and Martin Carthy plays guitar, and John Kirkpatrick, various sort of concertinas and accordions and melodeons. And yeah, it's a really, really, really lovely sort of folk album, and it's from 1983. So from here, I think I go on to let's have a look at Martin Carthy. Now, Martin Carthy has been involved in so much sort of over the years. You know, he's one of the greats of the English folk revival, and I think I'll go for this album. The album is from 1974, and it's called Sweet Withlesfield, as you can see. And, it's on the DRAM label. And again, it's a really, really fine album. So this is just sort of mainly just Martin Carthy on his own. He's done an awful lot of albums, particularly collaborating with Dave Swarbrick. But as I say, this is a solo of his from 1974. So you've got Shepherd O Shepherd, Billy Boy, Three Jolly Sneaksmen, Trimden Grange, all in a row. Then you've got on side 2, you've got a tune called Skewbald, and Skewbald is about a horse race, and it relates to a horse race in Ireland in, I think it was 1847. And at the time, American racehorses weren't sort of well regarded, and particularly Skewbald horses weren't well regarded as racing horses. In fact, I think American horses were known as quarter horses because, you know, they were allegedly sort of only fit for a quarter of a mile. But, you know, this American Skewbald horse was brought over from the States to race in Kilda. And to the surprise of absolutely everybody, Skewbald, you know, won a major sort of long distance sort of horse race. And this is the, you know, this is the story of that book to song. So you've got Mary Neal on here as well, King Henry, another song, a song that Steeleye Span recorded as well. I'll come to Steeleye Span in a second. And you've got John Barleycorn on here and The Cottage in the Woods. So this is Martin Carthy. So yeah, Martin Carthy, amongst not many people. Martin Carthy was in Steeleye Span, particularly in the early days. And, you know, going back to the beginning here, Ashley Hutchings was also in Steeleye Span right from the beginning. And this is Steeleye Span, and the album's called 10-Man Moth or Mr. Reservoir Butler Rides Again. And this is one of my favourite Steeleye Span albums. It's from 1971, and it's on a folk label called Pegasus. And yeah, it's a really, really nice album. And I'll show you. This is the you know, this is an original version, so it's got a little booklet in it. So there you go. And there's pictures of the members of the band. So you've got Martin Carthy here and Maddy Pryor, the singer, and one of the mainstays. She joined the band after the first album, and I think she's been in it ever since. And you've got in the middle there, you've got the details of the tracks and a little bit of history of each of the songs. And then you've got Tim Hart and Ashley Hutchings. And turn it over again because there's one more. It's a fiddle player, and it's Peter Knight. So yeah, so this is, you know, this is electric sort of folk music, as you probably know, and the track sort of, it's called Skewball on this, not Skewball, but it's the same tune about the horse racing island is on this album. So let's have a look at sort of you know, what Maddy Prior has also been up to apart from Steeleye band stuff. Well, in fact, Maddy Prior and her bandmate, and I think they're married. Tim Hart. And this is an album called Summer Solstice, and it came out in, I think, 1971, I believe. And yeah, it's a really nice folk album. It's on the B&C label, another British folk music label, and yeah, so yeah, it's a nice little gatefold. So let's picture them silhouette in the countryside, and yeah, so you got Maddy does the vocals, and Tim Hart plays sort of various instruments. He plays the guitars, he plays dulcimer, harmonium, and he also plays the psaltery. And the psaltery is a medieval instrument, and it's kind of related to the zither, and it's a bit like a dulcimer, I suppose. And yeah, I think this is probably the only album I've got that's actually got a psaltery on it. And yeah, so you got False Night on the Road, which was a tune that's also been done by Steeleye band, amongst sort of others. What else? The Ploughboy and the Cockney, again a British sort of folk song that occurs, you know, crops up quite often. Three Drunken Maidens, a sort of bawdy sing-along sort of song about three women off to the Isle of Wight, and they get very drunk and don't have enough money to pay for their drinks, so they find sort of an alternative way to make amends. So there you go. So yeah, other musicians on here. You got Andy Irving on here playing mandolin, John Ryan string bass, Jerry Conway on various sort of percussion, Pat Donaldson electric bass, and yeah, this is a nice little folk album. But Maddy Prior, she also contributed to with one of the other great British folk singers, somebody who doesn't really get sort of mentioned very often, and that's June Tabor. And this is you know, Maddy Prior and June Tabor under the name the Silly Sisters, and this is their album No More to the Dance, and it's from 19. Oh, I didn't write it down. Probably about 1978, something like that. I'll show you the album. It's on the Topic label. There you go. Topic is you know, a very big folk music label, and in fact this isn't 1978. It's 1980. And again, you know, it's two top-notch female folk vocalists sort of singing some great songs. Cake's Nail, you got on here, The Barring of the Door, What Will We Do, which is a great song, The Old Miner, and yeah, Hedger and Ditcher. So there you go. So that's Maddy Prior and June Tabor. So I've been going on for nearly 25 minutes now, so I'll finish with June Tabor and debut solo album. It is Airs and Graces, and yeah, it's a really nice album. I mean, standout tracks here. We've got Plains of Waterloo, which is a really nice sort of rendition of it from June on this. and also the famous song by Eric Bogle. Eric Bogle was a Scotsman who sort of emigrated to Australia, to the early part of his life, and he wrote the song. The band played Waltzing Matilda, and it's about the disastrous Gallipoli campaign in World War One, where Anzac troops, that's Australian and New Zealand Army Corps volunteers, were shipped off to the Gallipoli Peninsula in Turkey, and unfortunately they were absolutely massacred on making the beaches on Gallipoli. That they were just sort of unprepared for what happened, and it was a disastrous campaign that obviously had great repercussions back in Australia, because so many people from that Anzac force sort of died and were horribly sort of injured. And the anniversary of the landings, which is April the 25th, 1915, the anniversary is now sort of commemorated as Anzac Day. So that's the day when people in Australia, New Zealand, and some of these sort of Pacific islands, remember and celebrate people who have made a contribution to the armed services. And this album, again, is from 1976, and again, it's on the Topic label. And just to make a connection with punk rock here, and the band played Waltzing Matilda is a song that's been covered by the Pogues and the Skids. So there you go. So there's a deep connection between all types of music, isn't there? And there's certainly a connection between folk music and punk rock, and there it is. So as I say, I've been going on sort of long enough, and I might do a second one of these, because I quite enjoyed sort of showing stuff, getting stuff out, playing some of these records that I hadn't played for an awful long time, and I've enjoyed it. I hope you've quite enjoyed it as well. So until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye.